Hello, hello. Hopefully people can see me. And a little bit of proof that you can would be helpful because this is the first time I've done this. So yeah, am I talking to anyone? Is anyone there? Is anyone there? Don't want to just talk to myself. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, ding ding. Something said ding ding. Does that mean I'm on? Am I on? Am I on? Oh, I'm on. Look, someone has just loved me. Ah, lovely. Okay, thank you very much. And welcome to Janine's living room. Live from the living room. This is the first time I've done one of these, which is quite exciting, all things considered. So, yeah, my name's Janine Booth. Sorry? Yes, I am on. I know. I can hear you. Sorry, I'm just being heckled by my own family. So there you go. So yes, first time I've done one of these things, so I'm quite excited by this. So without any further ado, I think I should crack on with a poem. I'm sure you all have heard of disaffected youth and the kind of the trouble they get themselves into and the menace they are in society. There is actually another demographic of which the establishment ought to be equally afraid. So this is about them. Somewhat like the angry youth, but rather longer in the tooth. We're gobby, feisty, loud, uncouth. We're disaffected middle-aged women. Kicking our heels against the wall, plotting in the shopping mall, go tell them we're not playing ball. We're disaffected middle-aged women, armed with sertraline prescriptions, feminist magazine subscriptions, complaints of various descriptions. We're disaffected middle-aged women. We won't be judged on how we dress. We're going to save the NHS. We're doing yoga for the stress. We're disaffected middle-aged women with the leadership skills of Princess Leia and the kicks of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We don't chill out, we add a layer. We're disaffected middle-aged women. We're meeting to plan our strategy, but the gates at school at 3:30, pumped up on hormone therapy. We're the disaffected middle-aged women. So bosses and sexists, be afraid. We're not your skivvy or your maid. We don't care if our colours fade. We're disaffected middle-aged women forming a gang on an estate near you. Fighting the cuts and misogyny too, then home in time for a refreshing brew with a disaffected middle-aged women. Thank you very much. Oh, pop off the side for a sup of water there. Okay, so hello everyone. So before I was a disaffected middle-aged woman, I was a disaffected youth, obviously, and I do like to rewrite the lyrics of some of my favourite songs from when I was a disaffected youth. Yeah, who remembers Up the Junction by Squeeze? Fantastic song. For those of you who don't remember it, it tells the story. It's narrated by a guy who his girlfriend gets pregnant and he drinks too much and everything goes to shit. So I decided I wanted to rewrite this from the point of view of the woman. And I did. And I could tell you a little story here actually, because I in a rush of blood to the head, I sent this poem to Chris Difford, the original lyricist. Yeah, I never think he'd reply. And he did say he thought it was brilliant and gave us permission to publish it and record it. So this has been recorded as a song by a feminist punk band called I Doris, and it's available on their Bandcamp page. But a quid a go, and all your quids go to Women's Aid and to help with the excellent work it does with victims of domestic abuse. So, like I say, this is Up the Junction from the woman's point of view. So it's called The Girl from Clapham. I never knew it was Gordon, the guy who came from Morden. His face was cute and handsome, so that's when I began some adventure, most romantic, impassioned snogging antics. He said I wasn't common, his chat-up lines were rotten. We rented an apartment and sat there in the darkness. Our income for domestics could not afford electrics till he got a job on Mondays flogging knockoff undies. And when we got the lecky, he just sat there watching telly. I put up blinds and pictures. He wanted to get hitched, but our money we'd be needing for another mouth for feeding. He said that I had trapped him. He didn't know how it happened. I told him in his anger that it takes two to tango. We squabbled through the winter. I felt and he drank bitter. He worked from dawn till evening while I did all the cleaning and picked up all the crap that he left around the flat, and I felt I was in prison as a girl in my condition. And when we had the baby, he said he'd help me, maybe. He tried to make an effort, but pretty soon he left it. Sold the telly for a pony and pissed it up with Tony. Spent weekends like a loafer, passed out on the sofa. And now I'm 2 years older. I'm living with a soldier. I swapped a drunken loser for a fighter and abuser. He's always on his travels, and so my life unravels. It's just me and my daughter, alone in army quarters. Now I'm sat here in the barracks, peeling spuds and carrots, making stew and dumplings, the radio for company. And now the stupid beggar sent another letter with his and my dysfunction. We're really up the junction. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right, next one. So those two were actually from a previous book of mine called Disaffected Middle-Aged Women. I'm going to do a few now from my most recent book, Fighting Tories, The Force Awakens. The first one I'm going to do from that book. Sorry, my dog keeps opening the door, which is quite irritating. The first one I'm going to do from that is a question I am often asked. Now, maybe a question you guys are often asked as well, I don't know, but I certainly am. And that question is, why can't you just be normal? Why must you like that tuneless music, wear your hair the way you choose it? I think you get it, but then you lose it. Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you make yourself conform to anything that's near the norm? Don't you know there's a uniform? Why can't you just be normal? Why must you hang with those dropout friends? Dress how you like, ignore the trends. Your oddness seems to know no ends. Why can't you just be normal? Why do you have to say that stuff? Me and the others have had enough. Why must you make our life so tough? Why can't you just be normal? Why must you flinch from being praised? Why can't you tell that I'm amazed? Can't you see that my eyebrows raised? Why can't you just be normal? Your posture comes across as rude, your face is plain and your nails are chewed, you're not even eating normal food. Why can't you just be normal? Why can't you walk like the others do? Look at me when I talk to you, only speak when you're spoken to. Why can't you just be normal? Why must you flap and skip and spin and screech and make that fearful din? What headspace are you living in? Why can't you just be normal? Why must you sign when you could speak? Don't you mind being thought a freak, a loser, nerd, a weirdo, geek? Why can't you just be normal? No one likes the way you're sitting. Can't you even try to fit in? I do my best, but I feel like quitting. Why can't you just be normal? You're making people stand and stare. You do things that I'd never dare. No one likes you. You don't care. Why can't you just be normal? You have your strengths. It's such a shame. Why can't you play convention's game? Then everyone could be the same. A perfect world of normal. Thank you. Okay, another little short one from that latest book, because world leaders, politicians only seem to have one phrase that they ever say when something disastrous is going on. So this one is about that, and it's called Thoughts and Prayers. Racist terror, thoughts and prayers. Coffin bearer, thoughts and prayers. Crossing, drowning, thoughts and prayers. Solemn, frowning, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers and sad reactions. Thoughts and prayers, but never actions. Stabbed and killed, thoughts and prayers. Life unfulfilled, thoughts and prayers. Death in prison, thoughts and prayers. No decision, just thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, respectful silence. Thoughts and prayers, but yet more violence. Killer storms, thoughts and prayers. Global warming, thoughts and prayers. Climate chaos, thoughts and prayers. Recycled pathos, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers and resolutions, thoughts and prayers but no solutions. Thoughts and prayers and bare exchanges, thoughts and prayers but nothing changes. They've bought up shares in thoughts and prayers. Okay, so, here we go. Hello everyone, hoping you're enjoying yourself here. There you go, lovely, good, just checking out on your comments, lovely, fantastic. So, I should point you to my website, janinebooth.com, and if you want to buy any of a wide selection of books on, that's janinebooth.com/shop, because we've all, you know, got to be reading more stuff now, haven't we? Given the limits on going out. And soon I'm going to do some of the poems I've written about the coronavirus crisis. But before that, just a couple more from my latest book, Fighting Tories, The Force Awakens. By the way, here we go, look, t-shirt, Fighting Tories, The Force Awakens. You can buy that from the web shop as well. Okay, so next one. Okay, so for those of you who are actually fans of formal poetry, this next one is a pantoum, and a pantoum is a particular formal form of poetry which involves repeated lines that interlock with each other. The reason I'm telling you that, even if you're not interested in formal poetry, is because if I didn't tell you that and then I did this poem with repeated lines, you might just think I was too idle to write any new ones. So it's not that. So this is a pantoum, and it's a pantoum about visiting my son in hospital last year, and it's called This Place. I come to see you in this place, a train, a bus, a longish walk, a mask of growth veneers your face. We picnic, catch up, laugh and talk. A train, a bus, a longish walk, they brought you here to make you well. We picnic, catch up, laugh and talk, you've questions, jokes and tales to tell. They brought you here to make you well, you're brave but anxious 17, you've questions, jokes and tales to tell of doctors, therapists you've seen. You're brave, autistic 17, you're going to get the help you need from doctors, therapists you've seen, the help we had to claim and plead. You're going to get the help you need, but I can't help but wonder whether, if you got it when we pleaded, we'd still be at home together. I can't help but wonder whether opening fruit juice, opening cakes, we'd still be at home together, however long recovery takes. So I bring fruit juice, Dad brings cakes, a mask of growth veneers your face. However long recovery takes, we'll come to see you in this place. Thank you very much. Okay, so last year was the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, and the Stonewall riots was when the police raided a gay bar on Christopher Street in New York City. That was an everyday occurrence. That happened all the time, and usually the clientele just kind of let the police do it and didn't put up much of a protest. In June 1969, when they raided the Stonewall, they did something different. The clientele fought back and they rioted for 3 nights on the streets of New York. And in doing so, they changed the previously existing kind of polite, apologetic, pleading, whispering lobby for a bit of tolerance into the modern gay liberation movement, which since then has become the LGBT plus movement. So it was a really important event in the history of the struggle for gay liberation. And in fact, the Pride March started as an annual commemoration and celebration of the Stonewall riots. Not that you would necessarily think that from going on Pride these days. So this is the poem that I wrote to remind people a bit of that history, the history of Pride and where it comes from. So this is called Stonewall Was a Riot. It wasn't the Stonewall Focus Group or the Stonewall business case. It wasn't the Stonewall let's present our most respectable face. Long years of asking nicely had not got us anywhere. Our rulers did not listen when we whispered, it's not fair. So when rewriters try to say we won by being quiet, remind them of our history, that Stonewall was a riot. It wasn't the Christopher Street parade or a carnival with floats. No candidates turned up and smiled to try to win our votes. Oh, sorry. It wasn't the Stonewall letter Or the Stonewall Resolution, it fought all night to light the flame of the gay rights revolution. When glossies feed you tales that serve a bland and spiceless diet, remind them of our history, that Stonewall was a riot. Starbucks did not sponsor it, nor Barclays Bank, nor Nike. It wasn't led by lobbyists, but drag queens, puffs and dykes. The advertisers did not book a rainbow centre spread, and coppers didn't dance with queers, but beat them till they bled. When corporations claim our cause, then comrades do not buy it. Remind them of our history, that Stonewall was a riot. Now every tactic, loud and quiet, is welcome on our stall. But if it hadn't been for the Stonewall riot, we'd have no pride at all. Okay, actually, I can jump over that one and do that one a bit later. Okay, so in my proper job, I'm a night tube station supervisor. So I work on London Underground, have done for a very long time, and it's, as you can imagine, great material for a poet comes from being a night tube station supervisor. So I'm going to do my long poem about that, and then I'm going to do the COVID-19 remix after that, and then do some more of my poems about the coronavirus crisis. So here we go. Let's start off with Night Tube. Pushing 2 o'clock and Julie and Sue are going home after pogoing to a Buzzcocks tribute band. They wear the brand, got the t-shirt, got the buzz, falling in love, probably shouldn't have. The youngest are old enough to be out with mates or out on dates so the mums can stay out late. This is one of those nights, what do I get? Love bites. Dean is Mr. Clean and squeaky until work's finished for the week, and he and the other smart blue suits in shiny shoes, not boots, go for just a swift one, you know. But that was 8 pints and a chaser ago, and he thinks the last one might have been off. A gallon of banter and one-upmanship and sharing nachos with sour cream dips and cheesy chips. It's great, is this, stay late, get pissed, no last trains to miss. Sandy and Casey, hands interlaced, trying to be discreet but easily seen, topping up in the corner by the ticket machine. Fingers lingering, kissing goodbyes till they drift away to their different lines and home to their respective husbands and or wives. Good night out, Petal, yeah, just fine, nothing special, never mind. Wasted elastic, bagged in plastic, found by the gate on platform 8. Dropped by accident or left as waste, suspect package or just suspect taste. If you didn't want that crop top, you could have dropped it off over the road at the charity shop, except all-night deposits and all-night withdrawals, trawler trawling through the shawls and drawers, hoping she scores. Nick's waiting for his daughter. Silly mare, she's had too much to drink, but we've all been there. Can't work out the route from that station to this. Too pissed. And the friends who egged her on are gone. Jump in the black cab, Dad'll get the fare, rings in her ears and something in her hair. Went out though she didn't have a stitch to wear. Phil and Will and their neighbour's son still haven't had their fill of fun. They're right fucking Larry, go on, dare me. He's a real lawbreaker. He stopped the escalator. Lie on the platform, wave your legs in the air, you will if you dare. Go and do it for a laugh, show us your ass, you've got class, you have. Fucking chav. Sep tripped as he stepped off the train, tooth chipped, split lip, ankle sprain, mouth full of words and blood and pain. Might complain. Wasn't even tipsy, hadn't had a sip, unsteady on his feet, he uses a stick, but he couldn't get a seat. And now his heel feels even worse than his gum, but the medics won't come because he's conscious and breathing. Crying but not dying, so he's failed the triage. His friend is seething, giving it large, but can't get him up the priority list. Not even pissed. Through the ticket gate comes May. It's been a long day and she's been a long way, but at least her dad knew who she was today. By the time she'd got him off to bed and got away, the day was dead. She'd have loved to stay, but her kids need her too. May has so many things to do, and now she's travelling with the nightclub crew. Nights out unravelling on the night tube through to the end of the line, about bloody time. Degsy begs outside for the price of a ride, hoping to tap some happy party goer or returner, nice little learner who'd like to share some of their good fortune, spare some change for an unfortunate stranger. He'd like some milk of human kindness. Instead he gets a shiner from some mindless violence. And so it goes on. until the gradual, inevitable, almost imperceptible switch in flow from those going home from the lock-in to those going out to clock in, to jobs, not the sought after well-paid sort, but sorting mail, chasing tails, clearing plates, unlocking gates, early starts, good in parts. Looking for something to read is Lionel. Too late for last night's West End final. Too early for the morning papers. To be early to be up at all, but he got the call. Hates getting up before the sun does. What sleeping does, waking undoes. Will the daylight do what the coffee failed to? As night tube turns back in to day tube. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm going to rearrange myself a little bit now so I can sit down. How you all doing? You all right? Enjoying this live business? There, quick plug for the t-shirt again there. Oh, it's a bit too bright to be sitting there. Let's move that around. Okay. How we do? Lovely. Right, so that poem was about. Okay, so that poem. Oh, well, I've disappeared off my own screen. Where am I? There I am. Okay, I'm back again. Hello. So that poem was about kind of normal night tube, if you like, but night tube isn't normal now because of the coronavirus crisis. So the other day, when I was actually at work on the night tube, I wrote this poem. Because I've only just written it, I haven't learned it yet, so I'm going to have to read it off the other half of my screen. Okay, so this is called Night Tube, the COVID-19 remix. It's just like any other Saturday night, but without the vomit and with no one to fight. It's just like Night Tube, but nobody's pissed and the two people here are socially distant. It's just like every other morning after, but without the bleary eyes and laughter. There's no one to beg from, no tickets to tout, because staying at home is the new going out. The work-weary nurse has the carriage to himself, the space is ace and it's great for your health. It's just like a metro, but with no one to transport. The mice are in the ticket hall, they've come up from the platform. It's just like a railway, but with hardly any passengers, no one to help and no one to hassle you. It's more like a ghost town than an underground station. It feels like a church, but without a congregation. It's just like a playground without any children. They're cooped up at home so the virus doesn't kill them. It's a place built for people with no people to be seen. Because you can't get close to anyone. You don't know where they've been. It used to move the millions, the whole world and her wife. It vibrated with vitality. But now it's lost its life. Okay, so been writing a few things about the coronavirus crisis. So I want to do a couple more of them now. Again, this is going to involve me reading from the other half of my screen, so I might kind of waffle a bit while I call up the next poem. Yeah. And while I am doing, I'll say, I hope you're all okay, because this is like a really distressing time. It's really difficult for people. You know, so reach out, look after each other, do what you need to do, and know that everyone kind of cares, everyone sends their solidarity to everyone, okay? So I'll also say, while I'm waffling on looking for the next poem I'm going to do, that if you've seen me before, liked my poems, and would like to request a particular one, then type it in the comments box, and I'll see what I can do. Okay, I'm not going to do "Stay the fuck home" because that's a bit sweary. We don't want to be too sweary. Maybe we do want to be. Okay, hang on, it's disappeared. Bear with me a minute. The one I was going to do, there it is. It was not where it was supposed to be, but now it is. So I mentioned earlier about pantoums being a formal type of poetry. Another formal type of poetry that I'm a particular fan of is the villanelle. Villanelle is a 19-line poem. The most famous one is Dylan Thomas, "Do not go gentle into that good night." So again, it has repeated lines, but different rules from the pantoum. And this one it's actually the first one I wrote about coronavirus. I wrote it about 3 weeks ago, and I wrote it in response to being a little bit annoyed by how many people were saying, "Don't worry, calm down. It's only the old and the sick who are in danger," because a lot of people are old and sick, and they matter just as much as everyone else. So this is a Villanelle, and it's called Dispensable Other. Accept our rule and stop this hue and cry. Some loved ones have to go before their time. It's just the weak and sick and old who'll die. We have a theory here to justify. Our nudging unit thinks it's just sublime. Accept our rule and stop this hue and cry. No need to test or rest or notify. Our British stock is mostly in its prime. It's just the weak and sick and old who'll die. Forget your fragile neighbours and apply survival of the fittest paradigm. Accept our rule and stop this hue and cry. No need to stockpile meds or panic buy. Those stocks go down as virus figures climb. It's just the weak and sick and old who'll die. If you're not young and fit, you're by the by. Bring out your dead and sound the sorrow chime. Accept our rule and stop this hue and cry. It's just the weak and sick and old who'll die. Okay, so the other thing that's become rather noticeable during this pandemic is all the kind of ideological advocates of capitalism have gone a bit quiet. So I wrote this poem about that, about all the ideological advocates of capitalism going a bit quiet. And this is called Wherefore Art Thou Capitalism? No one's saying leave it to the markets. No one's claiming competition's key. The stockbrokers will lead us from the darkness. None are sneering now at stuff for free. No one says that laissez-faire will sort it. No one argues we'll be saved by greed. None declare just those who can afford it should get the test or get the care they need. No one says we need more speculators. And no one's calling care workers unskilled. No one waits for private ventilators. No one thinks compassion should be billed. None contend the rich should keep their fortunes instead of sharing wealth for common good. No one says they wouldn't pool resources and help the sick and frightened if they could. No one says it's fine to charge your damnedest. Supply will match demand and set the prices. None pronounce that mutual aid is madness. No one trusts a banker in a crisis. So where are Adam Smith and Milton Friedman? Where's triumphant capitalism hiding? Where's the wealth of nations when you need them? Tell the stock exchanges when you find them, but keep your guard for when the crisis passes. And profit praisers raise their voice anew. When corporate beggars claim their place as masters, remember solidarity got us through. Tell them that we won't go back to serve them. Tell them profit damages our health. Share the riches, for we all deserve them, and build a democratic commonwealth. Thank you very much. So we do have, this won't last forever, this dreadful period, this pandemic, and it should make us question what sort of society we live in and talk about what sort of society we want to create in the aftermath. And so that's my suggestion, that we need to think about the politics of solidarity, of socialism, rather than of capitalism and competition, etc. So, one more poem directly inspired by the coronavirus crisis, and then we'll get back to some other stuff. Okay, so this one. Hope everyone's been clapping for carers outside their house on every Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. We've been doing that here in Hackney, where I live, and last week actually we started clapping charms as well. So here's one you might want to try. Test, 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 PPP, keep key workers virus free. Okay, because it's not enough just to clap people, is it? when they're not getting the PPE they need, when they're not getting decent pay, when they're not getting tests, etc., etc. So anyway, I wrote this poem on that theme, and this is called Clap for Carers. Claps at windows, claps at doors, claps with power and verve. Wave on wave of loud applause our care workers deserve. Applause spreads fast round our estate. Applause saw us unite. Applause lets us appreciate the ones who lead this fight. Claps ring through the evening air. Claps are on the BBC. Claps show them how much we care. But workers need their PPE. Applause is strong, applause is good. From isolation cages, we'd keep on clapping if we could, applaud them better wages. Boris Johnson claps and waves, Hancock hails them heroes, but Tory leaders froze their pay and pegged their rise at zero. Applause fills streets and shakes the trees, applause with warm sincerity, but hospitals are on their knees from a decade of austerity. Claps for workers, night and day, who need more than our charity. Let's march in millions when we may, and strike in solidarity. Okay, so I should plug at this point, I've, over the last couple of weeks, been putting together an anthology of, okay, so I set up a Facebook group on the 18th of March called Coronaverses Poems from the Pandemic, which you are all most welcome to join, whether you want to read poems or write poems or both. And I was surprised by how much it took off. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, and there's new poems going up every like 10 minutes or something. And it soon became clear that we'd be able to put together an anthology of some of the best of these poems. So we have done that. So there is now an anthology. You can find the link to where you can buy it. It's an ebook at the moment. It's going to be a print book before the end of the month. You can find the link to where to buy it as an ebook on my web shop, janinebooth.com/shop. Or if you want to go direct to the bit where you can buy it from, it's books to read. So that's books to figure 2 read.com/coronaverses-poems. And you can buy it on Kindle and Apple and that kind of stuff. Okay, but if like me, you kind of prefer a bound paper thing, then you can wait a couple of weeks and come on that. And yeah, it's a really good project, Coronaverses. Any proceeds from it are going to, well, most of the proceeds are going to be donated by the poets who contributed to We Shall Overcome, which is a fantastic project which raises both solidarity and money and has been running for the last 5 years in response to austerity. Okay, so ooh, moving in there. Here we go. Get to plug t-shirt again. Fighting Tories, Force Awakens. Okay, back to over here. Yes, there we go. Hope you can notice Yoda in the background there. Yoda likes a bit of poetry. So a couple of those poems alluded to our care workers and NHS workers, and this next one is I wrote it before the pandemic was announced. I wrote it earlier this year when the government announced that following Brexit, it's going to introduce a points-based immigration system, and that unskilled people such as care workers would not meet the definition, would not get the points required to come into the country. Unskilled care workers, unskilled, yeah, right. So I wrote this poem. It just seems even more relevant now. It is called Unskilled. You don't have skills. You're just a carer, a labourer, an apron wearer. You smear on cream and dish out pills. You don't have skills. You don't have skills. You just wipe arses, the underside of the underclasses. You mop up drool, make tea and chat. Where's the skill in that? Sorry. You're a manual handler, a heavy lifter, a later night and early shifter. You're a miracle worker, a first responder, a 15-minute magic wonder, a jargon buster and explainer, understander, try-againer, a kit inspector, a friend and neighbour, a disinfector, a dressing changer, a food preparer, a medicator, a burden bearer, an educator, precious company, progress praiser, rarely grumpy, spirit raiser, hoister, shopper, cleaner, duster, moisture mopper, dose adjuster, symptom spotter, reading taker, noter, jotter, arrangement maker, passage easer, pain reliever, comfort giver, help for griever. But you don't work with lathes or drills. You don't have skills. Your wages barely pay your bills. You don't have skills. You're patient, caring, brave, strong-willed, but still unskilled. That's why that vacancy's unfilled. Thank you very much. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. I'm trying to work out how much more I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do a couple more. If I host it online, you could maybe kind of post me a thing saying that's all right, something like that. A couple more. Okay, so I'm going to do one that is, okay. So when I was trying to educate myself about poetry a few years ago, I read a biography of Philip Larkin. It turns out he's a bit of a prick, really. But there was a bit in that book where it describes when he was at Oxford University in the 1940s. He was an undergraduate there. And it describes a guy he made friends with. And one of the things it describes him as was an author of several unpublished books. A certain poetic ring to it that has. But also my head started to unpick the kind of meaning of that phrase. Because if you were a bloke undergraduate at Oxford University in the 1940s, and therefore extremely posh, and you were the author of several unpublished books, it was almost certainly because your books were crap. However, for everyone in that position, there are thousands upon thousands of working class women and men who are the authors of several unpublished books, not because their books are crap, but because they don't have access to that level of privilege and opportunity to have their books published, or maybe life got in the way of them writing the books in the first place. That's a long and waffly introduction to the poem that was inspired by that single phrase in that book. Yeah, it's one of my favourite poems that I've written. And it is called Unpublished Author. A traveller to worlds of unvisited places, a winner of numerous unstarted races, a painter of touch-ups that could have been pictures, designer of unproduced fittings and fixtures, inventor of gadgets that never made patent, finds skills unfulfilled and fierce passion still latent. Cordon bleu cook feeds her kids what she cooks, an author of several unpublished books. Soul-drenched soprano who sings in the shower, an artist who hires out her craft by the hour, a teller of stories, a co-educator, a thinker, philosopher, poet, creator, composer of lullabies heard just at home. Her life may stand still, but her mind likes to roam. A scrawler of lines stuffed in crannies and nooks, an author of several unpublished books. A washer of dishes, a wiper of asses, a lister of wishes, a dropout from classes where muse could have struck. She was clearing up muck, or so tired she got stuck, or out earning a buck. A riser at dawn, she's a clock in and outer, she's patched up and worn, she's a serial self-doubter. The sleazeball at work says she's losing her looks, an author of several unpublished books. She'd dance in the dusk, but her neighbour's abusive. Containerised living is hardly conducive. She'd love to be noticed, but breaks are elusive. The one time she tried, the reply was conclusive. A writer of plot lines, deviser of hooks, and author of several unpublished books. A worker of overtime, Christmas is nearing, toiling in noise, getting harder of hearing. Watch time grinding onwards, her dreams disappearing. Her subconscious critic is constantly jeering. She's one of those stars whom our world overlooks and author of several unpublished books. Another 10 minutes if I want. Do unskilled. It's oh, there you go. I did unskilled before I even noticed the one asking for it. There you go. Do stay the fuck home. Okay, right, yeah, all right. I will do stay the fuck home. Wasn't planning on doing that one, so I'm just going to have to go and find it. Okay, so in the meantime, it's funny. Stay the fuck home. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. There you go. There it is. Okay, so there's been a bit of a thing, has there not? A bit of a thing of people going out and denouncing other people for going out, which is a bit odd. I read something very good by a doctor yesterday, Dr. Yanis, who's a good lefty in the British Medical Association. He's a junior doctor, and he says kind of stop blaming the general public and letting the state off the hook for its failings. So he said this in a kind of political way. I'm saying it in a rather rude, poetic way. If you're sensitive to swear words, you may wish to mute for the next 10 minutes, because this poem does use the word fuck a lot. Because there's been a hashtag that says stay the fuck home, and I think it's a bit unreasonable. And this is me saying why I think it's a bit unreasonable. Okay, so this is stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home, they yelled at a grey-haired man in the supermarket that they were also in. Stay the fuck home, they insisted. Follow government advice, which is not for everyone to stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home, they typed, logged on to the company account, working from home on full pay. Stay the fuck home, they said, from a home in which they are not beaten or abused. Stay the fuck home, they posted, from their comfortable, well-stocked homes, which remain comfortable and well-stocked due to the labour of those who do not stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home, they urged. Ignore those who need you. Don't feed them or help them or heed them. Stay the fuck home, they demanded. Polishing pitchforks with 2-metre-long handles so they can use them while maintaining social distancing. Stay the fuck home. How about instead pay full fucking sick pay and decent fucking benefits, fucking house the homeless, deliver fucking food to people's fucking homes, help the fucking lonely and the fucking vulnerable. So show some fucking solidarity. Thank you. This is not a virus symptom. This is just for talking for so long. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with one more. Okay. As you know, I started off by doing a poem about being a disaffected middle-aged woman. Obviously, as you grow older, your politics moderate, don't they? You give up the revolutionary verve of your youth. So here you go, there's a poem about that. When I was young, full of rage, I hated Tories to my core. But now I've reached a gentler age. I hate the fuckers even more. What shall I do on this fine day? I've so much on my list, a mix of work and rest and play. I'm sure you get the gist. And maybe I will write a rhyme, but my unwritten law is every day I'll spend my time mostly hating Tories. I'll go to work, some bills I'll pay. That's if I'm feeling rash. To help her through to payment day, I'll lend my friends some cash. I'll probably make my kids some tea and read them bedtime stories of homeless piggies 1, 2, 3 and why they hate the Tories. I'll hate them for the bedroom tax, I'll hate them for the cuts. For living off the workers' backs, I'll hate their very guts. Look, see the depths to which they'll sink. They don't know where the floor is. That's why I'll spend today, I think, mostly hating Tories. What's that you say that hate's not nice? Please love thine enemy. Well, yeah, I tried that once or twice. It didn't work for me. And if you think that's not fair play, remember this you must. The Tories, they will spend their day mostly hating us. The history of evil done will justify my hate. I still detest the Tory scum for Section 28. Now, Bevan built the NHS, so he knows what the score is. And he said vermin come off best compared with bloody Tories. I'm sure I'll find time to revile that UKIP and its drivel, and I'll locate a little while to loathe the lonesome Liberal. I'll maybe pause to show regret for Labour's missing glories, but save my fiercest fury yet for mostly hating Tories. Our generation and here on, our class and those before us, grew up to know which side we're on. The side that's not the Tories. So when I die, do this for me, inscribe and sing in chorus. Here lies Janine, her life spent she, mostly hating Tories. Okay, thank you very much. Well done to Punk for the Homeless for putting on these gigs. It's been putting on real live ones for a number of years now, raising solidarity as well as funds. Grassroots initiatives like this are very well worthwhile and very well worth your support. So please donate. I'm sure the organisers have put something online there saying a little clicky thing for you to donate and help homeless people who are particularly vulnerable, particularly at this time. If you have any money left over from your donation and you need more stuff to read, pop along to my shop, janinebooth.com/shop, where there is a variety of reading materials and, of course, the t-shirt, should you wish to buy one. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time. See you again. Or you can follow my page if you like, Facebook page, Janine Booth, the big J. And yeah, maybe I'll see you at my next gig. Cheers. Solidarity.